This is crazy. And I felt bad for like a half a second. But the very next night, he kicked that door in, and the chair was the only thing that stopped him from being immediately in. It was like one of those cheap apartment doors. The chair was the only thing that stopped him. He kicked the door open, and I hear him trying to dislodge the chair. And I remember grabbing my firearm off the table, and I remember pulling the slide back, and there already being around in the chamber because I had gone to the range that day. And I walked over to the top of the stairs, and I remember, like, looking down and seeing him dislodge the door. And I remember shooting twice. Boom, boom. And I'm in, like, an enclosed space, which, like, it should have deafened me. I don't remember hearing it. I just remember shooting twice, and I remember hearing him go, "Oh, fuck, Dasia, you shot me." And uh, he stops dislodging the door. And he had told me multiple times already, "If you hate me so much, shoot me. If you hate me so much, shoot me. I'm gonna come and visit you tonight. If you hate me so much, shoot me." And so I think even before he processed that he had been shot, he had, like, already, like, this is what has happened. Um, and he stopped trying to dislodge the door, and I remember putting my firearm down, and I remember picking up the phone and calling the police, and I'm like, "My name is Dasia, and I just shot my stalker." And I remember, like, just the calmest I had ever been. And it's funny because, like, I've told this story before, and people will say things like, "Oh, I would have been clipped," or, "No, why did you only shoot twice?" And it's like, I wasn't angry. There was no anger in me. There was no, feminine rage. There was none of that. It was just like, it's me or it's you, and I choose me. And that was hard because he had told me, he was like, "Maybe I'll just make you kill yourself."
Mm.
And there were many times where it was just like, I don't keep dealing with this. I don't wanna keep dealing with this, and, like, maybe this would be easier. And, so it was like it was me or it was him. And so the police come, and there's, like, no blood or anything. There's, like, no he's nowhere to be found, and I just remember sitting in a daze. They have me come outside, and they start doing, like, their CSI thing. And, I'm like, "I'm going to jail." Like, I fired a gun in an apartment building, like, I finally snapped. There's no one here. And, like, 20 minutes later, I hear, like, a scream, and I hear some dogs barking. And I hear on the radio that they've got him. And so all the other times that the police would come, he would just run and hide. And he didn't process how hurt he was. So he tried to hide, and he's, like, bleeding out under a bush. And I remember watching them, like, wheel him on a gurney onto the ambulance and just being so glad that other people could see him. I'm like, "You could see him, right? Like, y'all see him, right?" Like, I remember that feeling of, like,
Mm.
washing over me of, like, other people can see him. And, they ended up finding, like, earmarks on the door. I don't know how long he had known that address and how long he would just be, like, coming to the house just to listen to see if he could hear noises inside.
So when they're fingerprinting and things, they
Yeah.
found his ear prints
Yeah.
on your door.
Yeah. And, so they give, like, a lot of rights to criminals,
Whew.
and he, ended up, like, gaming the system for months after that. He was hurt pretty badly, so he had to go to the hospital for about 4 months, and so they just keep delaying your court date, delay it, delay it, delay it, and then once he got healthy enough, um, I shot him in the chest, so he ended up losing, like, a significant portion of his ribs, of his lungs. Um
Hit him dead center.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and the only thing that saved him was the fact that I went to the gun range that day, and I hadn't swapped out my range ammo, so it was very smooth.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I don't wanna say, like, so close because I don't, like, fantasize about, like, ending a life at all.
No,
I
but
don't
I get that because
but
your
it's just,
range ammo
like,
is different.
it's different. Um, and,
Mm.
he would do things like stop eating and starve himself so he wouldn't have to go to court. and, just delay it, so he ended up getting delayed for, like, a year, and the wildest thing to me about the entire experience was watching us have to go to court so many times and him not show up. I didn't know that was possible. Like, they can make the choice not to show up to court until they, like, make them,
Right.
and, so he just kept playing this game, and so I shot him in September, and we didn't go to court until July, so he already had, like, 300 days served, and we had bounced around so much they forgot they, like, lost my victim witness paperwork, and so the way that it normally works is you go to court and uh, they bring the defendant and they let the victim witness speak about, like, the defendant's actions and the impact, and then the defendant, says that they're sorry and all this stuff, and then they do sentencing. Well, because they forgot my paperwork, the way that it went was it was just the defendant speaking, and the picture that the lawyer painted, it